Jai Mahamaya Ki Jai, Vishveshwari Mata Ki Jai. We'll go on with chapter 53 from the Devi Bhagavatam, retold by Ramesh, Menon. Vedavyasa continued, O king, the Devi Bhagavati said to the Devas and to the mountain Himalaya, the Brahman is everything, nearer than you imagine, moving in the hearts of all creatures of all the worlds. He is the final goal of all things, great and little. Every existence is founded in him. He is the ultimate holy ground, higher than being and nothingness, higher even than wisdom. He is the light of lights, infinite and infinitesimal. He is immortal, the target to strike. Vishnu is prana and prananatha too. He is the word, Vak. He is Jagadguru, the preceptor of the universe. He controls every jiva. Let pranava be your mystic bow. Fix the arrow of your heart to it, sharpen it with dhyan, and take careful aim at the Brahman. The man with the single-pointed mind finds his eternal mark, even if it takes him 100 lives to do so. In him all mandalas and brahmadas dwell. Into him the nadis, the lattices of life are threaded. He is the Atman that pervades the heart and manifests himself as all the living. He is the pranava, the Om, from which every life springs, the fourth dimension. His ways are always mysterious as he leads all jivas on their long and brief journey along pathways through stars and time. 5 bonds bind the embodied in darkness. A vision of the Brahman severs those fetters and liberates the Atman into a higher realm. At the threshold of this world, the Jnani salutes the Sisumara, the hub of the universe. The Sisumara is the constellation of the dolphin in the north. He is a mystical one, the doorkeeper to the universe. He is Hari. Some say he is Brahman. Others say he's Brahman himself, manifest as the highest sheath of the golden egg, the light of lights, the fire of every sun. In the jiva, he is the auric egg. In the cosmos, the great golden one. He is worshipped in the first as Gayatri, and then as Susumara. The golden sheath is the solar sphere. And Narayana Susumari dwells in it, pure and single, without parts or limbs. Because of him, the sun burns, why every sun of every nebulae. But they do not illumine him. Rather, he illumines each light in the universe. The Brahman is eternal freedom, boundless. He pervades all the directions and transcends them too. And he dwells in the heart. Verily, he is the heart entirely. The man who realizes this final self becomes the Brahman himself, and he is set free. He is perfectly fulfilled in the ocean of spirit. He has no need or wants. He knows no fears or danger. He knows the unity of all things, and that he too is that one. Know, O mountain, O gods, I am the one. I am she, the Parabrahman, and I dwell not in any Tirtha, nor in Kailash, Vaikuntha, or Manidvipa, but in the hearts of my bhaktas, the soul of wisdom, the Jnanis, the illumined ones, the Yogan who attains moksha, whose heart is dissolved in the Brahma, Jnana. Be certain he purifies the whole world. Why? The very Brahmana, the universe. This, O Devas, O Himalayan, is the essential Brahma Jnana. That must be taught to the eldest son who is devout, or indeed to anyone who has an upright character, and never to the man of nature who is mocking or sinful. The Guru who imparts the Brahma Vidya, he is like God himself to his devotees, and the gift of the Brahma Vidya is one that can never be repaid. Why, a man's natural father is hardly as important as his master, the spiritual father who gives him birth into the eternal Brahman. But the incarnate life ends in death, but the life of the spirit into which the Guru gives a man birth is immortal. Indeed, this is why the Guru is to be worshipped like God. Even if Shiva is angry with the man, it is said his Guru can save him. But if a Guru becomes angry, even Shiva cannot save the Shishya from his master's wrath. A man who is ungrateful to his master, who teaches him the way of the spirit, why, he can never have salvation, not in 100 births. But Brahma Jnana is hardly easy to acquire. Listen to a tale from me. Once in a certain Kalpa, a Muni from the Arthavana family, whose name was Dadiyama, went to Indra and asked him for the Brahma Jnana. Indra said, "You can have the final Vidya from me, but if you ever tell it to anyone else, I will have your head." Yama swore he would not breathe the last secret to anyone, and Indra taught him the Brahma Jnana. A few days later, the Ashvin twins arrived in the Muni's ashram and worshipped him to have the Brahma Vidya from him. Dadyama said, "If I teach you the Brahma Vidya, Indra will cut off my head." But the Ashvins hardly needed to think before they surmounted this obstacle. "We will sever your head and keep it elsewhere, and give you a horse head. Teach us the Vidya." The Muni could not resist such pupils. He taught them the Brahma Vidya, and Indra cast his vajra down at him and struck his horse's head off. But then the Ashvins arrived with their guru's real head and restored it to him. Of course, Dadyama, the realized one, only laughed as if the two beheadings tickled him. So blessed are they who gain Brahma Vidya, and a yogin will do anything to have it, for it sets him free forever, said the Devi Bhagavati. Prostrating 100 luminous peaks at the goddess's feet, holy feet, Himalaya Parvata asked, "Mother, tell us about the Bhakti Marga now, by which ordinary souls who have not the dispassion to gain the Brahma Jnana by tapyas come to grace." By 3 paths, embodied souls arrive at moksha: Karma Yoga, the way of deeds; Dhyan Yoga, the way of meditation; and Bhakti Yoga, the way of worship. Of the 3, Bhakti is always the easiest and bestows the same nirvana as the other 2. Bhakti requires no great rigors of body or spirit, and just as the essence of nature are triune, of sattvic, rajas, and tamasic, so too is the yoga bhakti. He who worships me to inflict harm on an enemy, his bhakti is tamasic, since he is full of vanity, malice, envy, and rage. When a devotee worships me for his own ends and not to cause injury to anyone, his bhakti is rajasic. Such a worshipper has some great desire he wants to fulfill, of wealth, pleasures, or achievement. But the bhakta who worships me to purify himself and offers me all his karma, whatever he does, in a spirit of perfect relinquishment, he is a sattvic bhakti. But even he thinks of himself as being apart from that which he worships, and his devotion is less than the Parabhakti, the supreme bhakti, the 4th transcendent kind. In that final devotion, the bhakta is absorbed in love for me. He has no trace of desire for the fruits of his karma. Neither does he want any of the moksha for himself, not samipya, sarista, sayupa, or the others. He is perfectly absorbed by his bhakti. He does not even want nirvana. He is the immaculate sevaka, serving only me. why he hardly thinks of himself as being apart from me anymore, but says, I am she, the Devi, myself. He sees me in all things and everywhere, in the low and in the high, all the jivas. He hears the hymns of the stones that are meant to be mute. And when he but says my name or my mantra, or sees a temple of mine or my bhaktas, his heart wells into a font of ecstasy. His hairs stand on end and tears of love course down his face. He sings my name then in abandon, for the paraprema is a torrent of love hurtling into the ocean that I am. He is hardly conscious of being apart from me, the mother of the universe, the cause of causes. He sings, he dances, intoxicated with me. This bhakta's heart and his life are sage, serene. He knows that the prabodha karma of past lives must bear fruit in this one, and he is imperturbable. He does not identify with his body or even his mind, and is far from concerned with his preservation. He sees his way ahead clearly, and that it will lead him to me. The fourth bhakti is parabhakti, and there is none higher than it. It is unalloyed with philosophy. It is simple, pure, and consumes the bhakta, so he becomes one with me forever. Ahamkara dies in his heart, and he realizes the Param Brahman. When he dies, he does not return to birth. O Devas, O Himavan, the Paramatman is seen in the Pitri Lokas like an image in the mirror. But a man who attains the realms of the Manas, or even the realms of Brahma, returns to birth, perhaps to one final one. But he who sees the light of the Brahman is not born again. The final salvation comes after many, many births. A human birth is rare, indeed, and he who does not strive for the moksha, even after being born human, let him know that his life has been wasted. Yet the very desire for liberation arises only out of past karma, which is why some have it and others do not. Self-restraint, yoga, knowing the Vedas, acquiring a real guru, these are the true treasures of life. Fortunate are they who gain these out of their punya by leading as devoted and chaste a life as they can. And he who has these naturally in some measure, yet does not aspire to the final gyan, truly his life is a desolate one, an incalculable waste. The wise have said that as ghee dwells potentially in milk, so too does knowledge dwell in the human heart, why even the Vijnana Brahma. Let a man's final purpose be clear to him, and then let him tread the long and windy way. Let him truly make an effort, and he shall indeed come to grace, said the Devi to the Devas and the mountain, said Vedavyasa to King Janamacharya. Jai Mahamaya ki jai, Vishveshwari Mata ki jai, Bole Baba ki jai.